every doorway, and shining white Christmas trees covered in magical snow and icicles glittered in every corner, each one topped with a gleaming gold star. It was less crowded than the last time they had been there, although halfway across the room, Harry found himself shunted aside by a witch with a satsuma jammed up her left nostril.
Family argument, eh?
Smirked the blonde witch behind the desk.
You're the third I've seen today. Spell damage, 4th floor.
They found Mr. Weasley propped up in bed with the remains of his turkey dinner on a tray on his lap, and a rather sheepish expression on his face.
Everything all right, Arthur?
Asked Mrs. Weasley, after they had all greeted Mr. Weasley and handed over their presents.
Fine,
said Mr. Weasley, a little too heartily.
You, haven't seen Healer Smedic, have you?
No. Why?
Nothing.
Said Mr. Weasley, airily, starting to unwrap his pile of gifts.
Well, everyone had a good day? What did you all get for Christmas? Oh, Harry, this is absolutely wonderful.
For he had just opened Harry's gift of fuse wire and screwdrivers. Mrs. Weasley did not seem entirely satisfied with Mr. Weasley's answer. As her husband leaned over to shake Harry's hand, she peered at the bandage under the furniture. She said, with a snap in her voice like a mousetrap.
You've had your bandages changed. Why have you had your bandages changed a day early, Arthur? They told me they wouldn't need doing that till tomorrow.
What?
Said Mr. Weasley, looking rather frightened and pulling the bed covers higher up his chest. He seemed to deflect Harry's piercing gaze.
Well, now, don't get upset, Molly, but Augustus Pye had an idea. He's the trainee healer, you know. Lovely young chap, very interested in complementary medicine. I mean, some of these old muggle remedies, well, they're called stitches, Molly, and they work very well on muggle wounds.
Somewhere between a shriek and a snarl. Lupin strolled away from the bed and over to the door, who had no visitors, and was looking out the wistfully at the something about getting out of the tree, and Fred and George left to accompany him, grinning. Said Mrs. Weasley, her voice growing louder every word, and apparently aware that her fellow visitors were scurrying for cover.
That you have been messing around with
It was just something Molly and I thought we'd try. Only, most unfortunately, well, with these particular kinds of wounds, it doesn't seem to work as well as we'd hoped.
meaning.
Well, I don't know whether you know what stitches are.
It sounds as though you've been trying to sew your skin back together.
Said Mrs. Weasley with a snort of mirthless laughter.
But even you, Arthur, wouldn't be that stupid.
I fancy a cup of tea too.
Said Harry, jumping to his feet. Hermione, Ron and Ginny almost sprinted to the door with him. As it swung closed behind them, they heard Mrs. Weasley shriek.
What do you mean that's the general idea? Typical Dad.
Said Ginny, shaking her head as they set off up the corridor.
Stitches, I ask you. Well, you know, they do work well on non-magical wounds. I suppose something in that snake's venom dissolves them or something. I wonder where the tea room is.
5th floor.
Said Harry, remembering the sign over the Welcome Witch's desk. They walked along the corridor, through a set of double doors, and found a rickety staircase lined with more portraits of brutal-looking healers. As they climbed it, the various healers called out to them, diagnosing odd complaints and suggesting horrible remedies. Ron was seriously affronted when a medieval wizard called out that he clearly had a bad case of spattergroit.
And what's that supposed to be?
He asked angrily as the healer pursued him through 6 more portraits, shoving the occupants out of the way.
'Tis a most grievous infection of the skin, young master. I believe you pockmarked. And more gruesome even than you are now.
Watch who you're calling gruesome.
Said Ron, his ears turning red.
The only remedy is to take the liver of a toad, bind it tight about your throat, stand naked in the full moon in a barrel of eel's eyes.
I have not got spattergroits.
But the unsightly blemishes upon your visage, young master.
They're freckles.
Said Ron furiously.
Now get back in your own picture and leave me alone.
He rounded on the others, who were exit into the double doors that marked the start of a corridor signposted Spellbridge. A man was peering out with his nose pressed against the glass. He had wavy blonde hair, bright blue eyes, and a broad, vacant smile that revealed dazzlingly white teeth.
Blimey.
Said Ron, also staring at the man.
Oh my goodness! Professor Lockhart!
Their ex-Defense Against the Dark Arts teacher pushed open the doors and moved towards them, wearing a long, white dressing gown. Ginny again,
How are you, Professor?
said Ron, sounding slightly guilty. It had been Ron's malfunctioning wand that had damaged Professor Lockhart's memory so badly that he had landed in St. Mungo's in the first place. Though as Lockhart had been attempting to permanently wipe away Ron's memories at the time, said Lockhart exuberantly, pulling a rather battered peacock feather quill from his pocket.
Now, how many autographs would you like? I can do joined up writing now, you know.
Don't want any at the moment, thanks.
Said Ron, raising his eyebrows at Harry, who asked,
Professor, should you be wandering around the corridors? Shouldn't you be in a ward?
The smile faded slowly from Lockhart's face. For a few moments he gazed intently at Harry.
Haven't we met?
Yeah, we have. You used to teach us at Hogwarts, remember?
Teach?
Repeated Lockhart, looking faintly unsettled.
Me? Did I?
And then the smile reappeared upon his face, so suddenly it was rather alarming.
Taught you everything you know, I expect, did I? Well, how about those autographs then? Shall we say a round dozen? You can give them to all your little friends then, and nobody will be left out.
Just then, a head poked out of a door at the far end of the corridor, and a voice called,
Gilderoy, you naughty boy, where have you wandered off to?
A motherly-looking healer wearing a tinsel wreath in her hair came bustling up the corridor, smiling warmly at Harry and the others.
Oh, Gilderoy, you've got visitors. How lovely. And on Christmas Day, too. Do you know, he never gets visitors, poor lamb, and I can't think why. He's such a sweetie, aren't you?
We're doing autographs.
Gilderoy told the healer with another glittering smile.
They want loads of them. Won't take no for an answer. I just hope we've got enough photographs.
Listen to him.
Said the healer, taking Lockhart's arm and beaming fondly at him as though he were a precocious 2-year-old.
He was rather well known a few years ago. We very much hope that this liking for giving autographs is a sign that his memory might be starting to come back. Will you step this way? He's in a closed ward, you know. He must have slipped out while I was bringing in the Christmas presents. The doors usually keep locked. Not that he's dangerous, but
She lowered her voice to a whisper.
he's a bit of a danger to himself, bless him. Doesn't know who he is, you see. Wanders off and can't remember how to get back. It is nice of you to have come to see him.
Said Ron, gesturing but the healer was smiling expectantly at them, and Ron's feeble mutter of
Going to have a cup of tea.
trailed away into nothingness. They looked at each other helplessly, then followed Lockhart and his healer along the corridor.
Let's not stay long.
The healer pointed her wand at the door of the James Sticky ward and muttered, "Follow her more." The doors then opened, and she let the wand slip, keeping a firm grasp on Gilderoy's arm until she had settled him into an armchair beside his bed.
Mrs. Arlington residence ward. For a permanent spell, she but with intensive medial potions and charms and a bit of luck, we can produce some improvement. Gilderoy does seem to be getting back some sense of himself, and we've seen a real improvement in Mr. Bode. He seems to be regaining the power of speech for years Well, I must finish giving out the Christmas presents. I'll leave you all to chat.
Harry looked around. The ward bore unmistakable signs of being a permanent home to its residents. They had many more personal effects around their beds than Mr. Weasley's ward. The wall around Gilderoy's headboard, for instance, was papered with pictures of himself, all beaming toothily and waving at the new arrivals. He had autographed many of them to himself in disjointed, childish writing. The moment he had been deposited in his chair by the healer, Gilderoy pulled a fresh stack of photographs towards him, seized a quill, and started signing them all feverishly.
You can put them in envelopes.
He said to Ginny, throwing the signed pictures into her lap one by one as he finished them.
I am not forgotten, you know. No, I still receive a very great deal of fan mail. Gladys Gudgeon writes weekly. I just wish I knew why.
He paused, looking faintly puzzled, then beamed again and returned to his signing with renewed vigour.
I suspect it is simply my good looks.
A sallow-skinned, mournful-looking wizard lay in the bed opposite, staring at the ceiling. He was mumbling to himself and seemed quite unaware of anything around him. 2 beds along was a woman whose entire head was covered in fur. Harry remembered something similar happening to Hermione during their second year, although fortunately the damage in her case had not been permanent. At the far end of the ward, flowery curtains had been drawn around 2 beds to give the